What's up everyone, V here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Marvel Legends Spider-Man 2099 from Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Part 1. I don't think it has the Part 1 anymore. I think it's just Across the Spider-Verse. But, you know, I guess it was too late in the game for them to change the packaging. But yes, this is Miguel O'Hara. I believe that's how you say his name. I did not do any research before this video. As he appears in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, a movie that, without a doubt, I can say is going to be peak. Haven't seen it yet because, as of recording this, I think it dropped, kinda. It's a Thursday, so I think it does drop Thursday nights. I don't know. Some people have said they've seen it, but I probably won't see it for a couple days. But that said, movie looks peak. Oh my god. It looks like it's going to be a phenomenal movie. I mean, those trailers all look so great, dude. The first one, Into the Spider-Verse, was phenomenal. One of the best comic book movies of all time. And probably in my top 3 favorite Spider-Man movies. That's a solid 10 out of 10 movie. You cannot go wrong with that movie. And when I saw that post-credit scene with Spider-Man 2099, I lost my mind. Because 2099 is probably my favorite of all the multiverse Spider-Man guys. Number 1, he's my favorite looking one. He has probably the coolest Spider-Man design of all time. He's from the future. That's awesome. Every single piece of media I've seen him in. So, like, the one show he's appeared in, because they barely use him. Which sucks, because he barely appears in anything. And it sucks, because he's so awesome. But I saw him in Ultimate Spider-Man, and I was like, man, he's so awesome. He's the only Spider-Man. Actually, no, that's a lie. Never mind. I was going to say he's the only Spider-Man I actually own a Spider-Man comic of. But I forgot that I actually have a Miles comic, too. But yeah, 29 is just so cool. And he's played by Oscar Isaac. Who doesn't love Oscar Isaac? And the design in the movie, they gave him a complete different design from the last movie. And I gotta say, I feel like this design makes him look even cooler than his normal comic design. They somehow made 2099 look even more badass. I didn't even know that was possible. He's big, he's bulky, he's angular. He looks very, very menacing in this new movie. And I can't wait to see why the hell he's got so much smoke against your boy Miles here. He out for all the smoke. He thrown him through different dimensions like Ultron did to the Watcher and What If, man. I want to know what's going on. That's crazy. But yes, this is the figure of him as he appears in the movie. If things either sound weird or look a bit weird, I had to raise the camera high up because he's tall. He's a tall guy. But yeah, this figure, it's got some quirks. We'll get into it, but first, let's get into the packaging. And he's carded. I don't know why, but this line's carded for some reason. Just ignore me drinking some water. It's like 90 degrees, and I turn off the fans for the video so you don't hear in the background. So I feel like I'm dying. But yeah, for some reason the Spider-Verse figures are carded, even though the first movie figures weren't, even though they didn't actually drop when the first movie dropped. I think they dropped like in 2020. But yeah, it's a carded look. They don't really have a unique look though. I think it's funny though, because ironically the only other Marvel Legends of 2099 I have is carded. So yeah, this is how it looks, but he has a lot less of a unique design. Just comparing them real quick before we get into the packaging. You do have some nice art of Miles. You got Gwen there, and you got 2099 in the back there, sporting a lot of stuff this figure does not come with. You got Marvel Legends, 2099, the Miles Spider logo, Hasbro. We got the weird portal thing. I'm not 100% sure what that is. Got a city in the back. Spider-Verse, Cross Spider-Verse Part 1. 4+, even though I think, yeah, they dropped the Part 1. And on the back, love this, you get a shot in pictures of all the figures from the wave. You got Miles, Spider-Gwen, 2099, Jessica Drew, Spider-Punk, The Spot, Peter B. Parker. This wave's kind of odd. I haven't ever seen Spider-Punk or Peter B. Parker. I saw Jessica Drew, though, but I kind of don't want her. I'll only buy that figure if she's like a really awesome character in the movie, because figure-wise and design-wise, it doesn't appeal to me in the slightest. I saw Miles, but I didn't buy him. Regret it because I thought he was at a store closer to me. He is not. I might order these two. I really want Spider-Punk, and the Spot I got right here. He'll probably be one of the next reviews. Great figure, by the way. Got $20.99. Got a very awkwardly posed shot of him, because we'll get into the fact that he's a little awkward to pose. We got Spider-Man $29.99, and that's about it. Bringing the figure back in, let's talk about his accessories, or lack thereof. I mean, I don't exactly know what I was expecting, but he comes with alternate hands. On him right now, I think in package he comes with the fists. Little small, because like he has a very stylized look in the movie, and his hands are like really big, and this figure does not do that well. And he comes with these hands. These are relaxed hands. Why? Like, he comes with these like weird relaxed hands for some reason. I mean, it's got nice detail. It got the red in there, got the red painted there. Although that spike right there should be painted red, and oddly enough, it was painted red on the basic figure, but not the Marvel Legends. Weird. The basic figure actually has a lot of one-ups on the Marvel Legends. But, like, why does he have relaxed hands? You'd think he'd have giant claw hands. Like, here's what it looks like on him. It does fix the smaller hand look a bit, and it kind of gives him the look of, like, the claw hand a bit. But it's like, it looks like he uses, like, the claw hand a lot. And even the box art had the clawy hands. And yet this figure doesn't come with that. It is really disappointing, because it really limits the posability you can do for this figure. And it's like, why though? I mean, like, the claw hands are like a staple of $20.99. He has them, but he doesn't. The basic figure doesn't either. Although, like I said, he does have the bigger hands, and he does just have like a bitch slapping hand. The other hands just look like they're gonna caress Miles and be like, yo fam, it's gonna be okay. Not hands that are gonna absolutely pummel him into another reality. And that's it for accessories. Oh, there's a train. Gotta love living near train tracks. But yeah, again, no bath piece, but I think, I don't know, I feel like if it was a bath wave, that Cyborg Spider-Woman would have been the bath, but there's no bath wave, so you can skip figures you don't care about, which is nice. And yeah, looking at the figure, he looks good. I'm not gonna say it looks bad. He is a bit disappointing. Like, proportion wise, he does look really good. He cuts a nice just standing silhouette. Because when this figure got leaked, I was one of the few people that actually really supported it, and I was super hyped for it. And it's the second I saw him on the shelf, I bought him. So it breaks my heart that he's very disappointing in a lot of ways. But let's just get into the details real quick. So one complaint I already have right off the bat is the head. It's not accurate. Or is it? Because I wish there's a better shot of it. But he has it doesn't curve. It goes, and then it has an angle down. And I was like, this figure just has it curved. That's inaccurate. Then you look on the back of the box, and it has that angle. See how it goes, like, you can't see anything because it's not in focus. See how it hits an angle right there? And it's not just curved like how this is? I was like, what's up with that? It's because they didn't paint it. Because it might be hard to see. But on closer inspection, you can kind of see that the paint doesn't line up all the way. And I was looking at it, and actually, it looks like the sculpt does have the angle. The paint just didn't hit it well. I don't know if that's just a problem on mine or others. I might buy another one just to do some customization, but yeah, that sucks. Wish is better painted. Hopefully others are, because it takes away the menace of him. He's also missing all the sculpt on the blue, which the figure arts and the basic figure had. for some reason, but not the Marvel Legends. I don't know. And Miles is covered in like sculpt and texture too, so it's weird. But the red has texture. It's strange, but anyway, getting back to the details, he does have some red lines in there, which do look nice. And he does have a very awkwardly shaped head because this is very much based off the animation. It does get a few parts inaccurate, but it is very animation faithful for the most part, as most of these figures are, which I really like. A lot of people were complaining about that, and it's like, would you... what? Like, why wouldn't you want the figures from the stylized animated thing to be stylized and animated? That's their whole thing. Why even bother making figures from the movie if you're not going to make them accurate to the movie? A thing I wish, though, I wish his shoulders weren't as flat and they went up a bit more. Because in the movie, it isn't as, like, boop boop. And again, I feel like the basic figure does it a bit better. But don't get me wrong, this basic figure does a lot of things wrong, too. We'll probably review that one soon. But yeah, I get to the spider logo, and aw man, that spider logo is just sick. Bringing in the old one for the spider logo comparison, it is very different, but I really like this new spider logo. Again, there's a lot of things I really like about this design. One thing to note, the mask does get rid of the weird spike things on the side, which is kind of sad, because I feel like it would look really cool and add to the menace, but you know, still, it looks really nice. And that spider logo looks really good. It's got a lot of nice line work throughout as well, and it's painted really well. And it's also on the shoulders as well, coming down to this little spike thing there. And I love the fact that his arm blades are giant. They look so menacing. It looks like he would just like bring it up and just stab someone with them. I mean, seeing how crazy he looks in this movie, he might do that, which would just be awesome. But yeah, they're huge. They are a rubbery plastic, so you don't got to worry about them. Another thing I gotta complain about, comparing to the basic figure. Number one, the basic figure has it on the sides of the arm, but it's on the back of the arm on the Marvel Legends. This, I believe, is more accurate. But the basic figures, it's not as flexible, and it's a lot sturdier, which I prefer, because these just bend so easily, I'm afraid they're just gonna pull off. I wish they were sturdy, because, like, yeah, don't want to poke your eye out, but this is, like, more for collectors. This is the one for kids. Why is the kids one not as bendable? I don't know. But, I mean, it still looks good. Got some nice line work. Coming down to the hands, even though it is missing the paint there, it does look nice. I mean, look at those knuckles. That's gonna bruise poor Miles up. At first, it might look like the paint doesn't go all the way in to the cracks, but that is actually accurate. If you look on the back of the box, it does have blue in there, which is pretty nice. I mean, yeah, look at him. He's got the Starscream build from Spiderverse. Giant Dorito upper body with them scrawny legs. Again, coming down to the legs, I do like... They did get rid of the red stripe going down, which sucks, but they did add a bit of red at the bottom right here for his legs, which I do really like, because it sucked that it was just blue down here. I like the bigger spider logo going onto the shoulders and everything, making the shoulders fully red, and bringing some of the red back down at the bottom of the design. And he does have red at the bottom of the feet. It looks really good. And on the back, he's got his web cape. It is bigger, though, than the puny little web cape this guy has. Wish this one was removable, though, because it looks like he doesn't even use the web cape that much in the movie. I've seen, like, one clip of him with the web cape, and it was him retracting it. And I do know the Figure Arts has a removable cape. That Figure Arts looks amazing. I mean, the figure's good, but I'll say this right now. If you're willing to wait a while and cough up the cash, just get the Figure Arts. It's way more accurate, has way better articulation and sculpt, has this removable, has an alternate head. Oh yeah, he doesn't have an alternate head either for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah, it just looks like a miles better figure. But yeah, and it does have this weird little, like, gradation that kind of doesn't blend as well as you'd hope, but actually it is red in the movie, so I'll let that slide. But it is a nice clear plastic and has some pretty good sculpt work, although it kind of looks like glass at the bottom. But fun fact, they actually did still paint the back detail. So if you really wanted to, you can just rip this off, because it's just, I'm assuming, just glued in there. And I do want to buy another one and just rip it off and maybe do a bit of customizing to it. And just have them without the cape, because at my Target, for some reason, they're discounted at $12, so I might actually just do that. But yeah, I like that they did paint that, because it's like, I mean, you can kind of see it through there, but they didn't have to. It's completely covered. It just makes me happy, because if you did want to just have him without the cape, you very well could. So yeah, he might not have the best sculpt work. He is missing a lot of that beautiful detail that he has, and the figure arts figure has, and might have some inaccuracies, but he still looks good. Articulation, though, that's where we hit the quirks. Number one, he has a dumbbell joint. Biggest flaw. Characters that need to look up, flying characters, Iron Man, Adam Warlock, Spider-Man figures, no dumbbell joints. Dumbbell joints do not look up well. If you want a Spider-Man to look up well, do what this guy did. Have a hinge. He looks up well. This guy has a dumbbell joint. The only reason he looks up decently is because there's a cut. But that's how much it'd get. And yeah, he does not look up the best. I mean, kinda. But he also doesn't really look down the best. And he is tall, so he needs to be looking down on people. Another thing I like. He's just so cool and menacing. I love him so much. But he does have some nice bob, which does help with rotating, because he has a weird neck. Because he's weirdly proportioned, because he's animated. Rotates. Arm moves out about that far. Rotates, and since it's all just rubbery plastic, nothing really gets in the way. Bicep swivel, which I'm a little worried, especially with my biggest complaint with this figure. The elbows. Yeah, that bent really well, and it does bend that far, because I put in hard work and effort to make it do this. When I first got it, it'd bend here, and then you have to fight God to bend that. I heated it up, I wedged stuff in between this and the joint, and I lubed it up with some dish soap after watching some videos, and that's the only reason why his elbows bend well. I had to, yeah, he's fun to mess with now, but those elbows honestly killed the figure for me. For a while, I just didn't really like the figure, because, like, I'd try to pose him and I'd have to fight God just to be able to bend his elbows. But now they bend really well, so if you do, I don't know if it's a problem just on mine. I think it has to do with the fact that he's pinless, because, of course, yeah, he's pinless. I think maybe it just, because I noticed most of the figures that have those joint problems are pinless, so I do think it might be just a problem with, like, the pins not being, like, shown. Maybe just makes it a bit, adds more friction. But if you do have a problem, I do recommend filling that up. What I did is I filled the front, filled the back with some dish soap, and just started articulating it until it just moved really nice and smooth. And now it's really good, but keep in mind that was not how it was right out the box. Hinge up and down, and rotation. Torso, he crunches that far forward and that far back. And another complaint, they didn't paint the spider symbol up. It just ends. So if you do crunch him like that, it's just blue. Don't know why they did that. And a waist swivel, which does break up the sculpt. I do wish they just did the diaphragm and waist joint. Also wish he had butterfly joints. Again, those should just be like staples on every Spidey figure. At least butterfly joints. This figure has no excuse. Both of those things have been existing for at least a year or two before this figure even dropped. And I feel like it'd make posing him so much easier, because he's a little awkward because of the proportions. Kicks that far forward. Kicks pretty decently, but not really good back, because, spoiler alert, he's packing mad cake back there. Look at that. Just look at the ass for a moment. Look at this chiseled ass, bro. Look at it. Miguel, my boy. He does not skip cheek day. My lord. He does them like butt workouts that Patrick Star does. My god. And comparing it to this, like, little limp butt cheek from Spot, it's crazy. I don't know why they went so hard with the booty detail on 2099. It's wild as hell. Like, look at that. Look at that. Does the basic figure have such a booty? Basic figure don't really got much booty at all. They went crazy. I think the Marvel Legends people were a little thirsty for Oscar Isaac when making this. But yeah, kicks that far forward, that far back. Does splits really well. Thigh rotation, nice double jointed knee, hinges up, down. I think I said those the wrong directions. And pivots, rotates. I don't know what you call it. But yeah, he does have a vague problem with standing because, again, look at those thin legs. They're packing heat up here. He needs to carry all this muscle. $20.99 does not skip the gym. So, yeah, do I recommend this figure? It's dicey. He's a little awkward to pose because of the proportions and lack of some articulation points. Also, they did paint the red on the inside, the hands on the fist, which is nice. But yeah, also, he does have these weird line things here. And when I looked at the Fortnite skin, because yeah, he's in Fortnite, those are supposed to be red. I don't know why they didn't paint that. Also, this is like, for some reason, the like ones Hasbro made don't have the weird gauntlet thing that he has. Figuarts does, I think. I'm glad he doesn't, because I'd never put him with it, but it's odd that he doesn't have it. So do I recommend this guy? If you're alright with a kind of flawed, awkwardly posing $20.99 for cheap, I do recommend it. Again, if you put in the work with those elbows like I did, like, second I fixed that elbow problem, he's actually fun to pose, but for a while he was actually miserable. But he does look pretty good. He poses alright. He poses way better again after fixing those elbows. But I'll be honest with you, if you're willing to cough up the cash and wait for a couple months for its release, just get the Figuarts. It's got miles better sculpting, way more accurate, has a removable cape, I think has the clawed hands, has an unmasked head, fixes pretty much every problem this guy has. So I'm probably going to buy him when it drops. So if you're willing to wait and cough up the cash, just get the Figuarts. But if you don't, I do recommend him. He is pretty good. Also, the basic figure, he is lacking a lot of articulation and is kind of inaccurate, but it's still pretty solid. I'll probably review him soon. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Sorry to be such a downer on this figure. It's just, I had such high hopes, and he did let him down a lot. But that's not to say I hate the figure. He's definitely my favorite $20.99. I just forgot the comparisons. Hold up. Yeah, the heat's getting to me. Yeah, let's do comparisons real quick. It slipped my mind. Here he is next to a Black Series and Transformers, like, Voyager class size figure. You can tell he's pretty big. And for some 7-inch scale, here he is next to Jazzwares Master Chief and a McFarlane DC, and he actually is around the same size as them, which is wild. Like I said, he's a pretty big guy. For some Spideys, here he is next to Black Suit Spidey and, what is it, Amazing Fantasy Spidey? Yeah. And he looks pretty good with them. It works because he has a very stylized look. So yeah, the stylized look does work with the comics. Here he is with a Scarlet Spider and, just to bring in, Spot. And my only Miles right now, here he is next to him. So he can't really pummel him into the ground, but he can damn well try. And for some $20.99 comparisons, here he is next to that basic figure and the OG Marvel Legends, even though this is the retro re-release. So yeah, even though he is flawed, I do prefer him miles more over this guy. And finally, just for fun, here he is next to another Marvel character that Oscar Isaac has played. Here he is next to Moon Knight. So, yeah, I guess if they make an Apocalypse figure, you can have the Oscar Isaac trio of Marvel characters he's played. I mean, hey, who doesn't love Oscar Isaac? He's the man. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, I completely forgot. It slipped my mind because, I'm not the brightest star in the sky. But yeah, if I were to give him a rating, I'd give him like a 6.57 out of 10. You can still have fun with him, but he definitely has some pretty big flaws. And again, if you are willing to do it, just buy the figure arts. I'm gonna buy the figure arts. I'll probably rip this guy to pieces in the figure arts review, but he's still a cool figure. And after fixing that elbow problem, I did actually have some fun messing with them. So yeah, that's about it. Check out my previous reviews. There's a lot of Guardians and Transformers stuff since those came out. We'll be doing more Transformers and more Guardians and more Spiderverse reviews in the future. So stay tuned, like, subscribe, check out my Instagram, MoonKnightXO. I'll probably be posting some Spider-Verse art because I did make a drawing of 2099, and you can get a little sneak peeks of reviews that will be coming up. So yeah, that's about it. And praying for our boy Miles in this movie. The whole entire multiverse be chasing him. Even a goddamn T-Rex is chasing him. So let's pray the bro can get out of it alive. And peace. That's a weird pose. He looks like he's a Spider-Man. Get him. I hope they make the T-Rex one. I don't know why. I want T-Rex Spider-Man so bad. Oh, yeah. Goodbye.